Hi there. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, hi, hello, wherever you are. Um, it's been pretty darn long time. I haven't done the next video or so because I've been busy and have been ungreat to me. I've been not feeling well and so forth. And yeah, been pulling out for at work and then have a rest and then go back to work. And they had the time to roaming through my hobbies. As you know, hobbies is something to relax, to spend your occupy your time for other than work or family or something else. It's more of a personal position to relax when you're doing your hobbies. You know, it's a me time. So yeah, I haven't had my own personal me time kind of way. So yeah, I've been busy with work and then fall sick and then go back right to work and fall sick again. That has been going since my last video. Anyway, recently I've just bought one item as a record. I have just bought one item, and the other one was a gift from my friend's little trip to South Korea. I would just say it's technically South Korea. Well, most people would just say Korea. And so I'm going to present what I got for those two. Uh, yeah. Um, Sorry, I was just out a little bit for a while. So yeah, anything sidetrack news? Good and the bad. Well, the good thing is, United Kingdom had just had an election, a huge landslide victory. Yippee doo dah day! It's the um, second largest majority of compared to Tony Blair's Labour Party. Starmer's Labour Party is second largest, but the threat is still there, which is the 4 million voters who voted the 4 members, the Reform Party. To me, this is a bit my personal opinion as non-British voters or citizens or whatever. Being an international, I get to criticize whatever the way I liked, and judging their side of things, I would say it's a huge threat. The Reform Party would consider to me as a kind of neo Trump party. I would say in such a way, a man who is a party that is mad enough to dare to say that certain human beings are less valuable than others. Certain sex are less valuable than others. You know what? I'll make it simple. Reform Party to me is exactly the same from the evolution of a political party of BNP, a British National Party. I don't know where's the British National Party gone, but there is one period of a time they were very loud. Probably most of them became old and then became a little bit more gentleman and gentlewoman. Probably in favor for Reform Party, a more decent way of being a radical part of the spectrum of political party, a far right party, I would just say. Speaking of the bad news, there are more bad news, I would say. Two bad news. Well, my projection that I would say France election is in the deep hole. The center left would collapse in this election, and the so-called center right would come to in power. Although this the Le Pen person also had same similar DNA as Nigel Farage. The critical issue is immigration. Spending money on a Muslim majority immigrants is a waste of money and time. That is the nutshell of things. Europeans are now tendency swinging to the right. But to me, I think it is majority of the countries are sick of the long term of the current government being governing the country. So you see, United Kingdom is switching from conservative to Labour, the Austrian to the far right New Party, the French is shifting from the Macron's party to Le Pen's National Party, more to the right. Germany most probably would happen the same thing, folks switching more to the right. Uh, and also America might shift back to Republican, to the right. A lot of countries in the world are shifting to the right. And of course today, recently, just a few moments ago, the by-election that is so very important by-election, I would say, that determines whether the consensus of the Muslim majority populations would in favor of the current government. Sadly, it is not. They lost even more, I would say, and they're more determined than ever that the opposition party in my country is growing larger in the justification of being pro-Islam or being pro-nationalist. The word is nationalist. Your own country's identity, your blood, your kind, your religious belief is the dominant and should suppress the others indirectly. I won't say directly, but indirectly should be kind of suppressed. Um, this is the term that now we see the entire world, I mean, in my observation, is moving towards. Everything is moving into more far right. The more countries being far right, the more countries will promote isolation on themselves. And most of the countries that are poor will go into civil war because they will not be getting support from the superpowered countries. It will directly becomes a chaos. And we will see a growing sensation that the Palestinian Gaza issue to be swept under the rug. The more countries becoming more far right, the more Israel becomes more boasting on their power because they know most of these countries would not support Palestine because most of the major policy they had is anti-immigration, anti-migrants, and trying to purge them out of the country as fast as they can. They see that most of the migrants coming into Europe, coming into United States, or even Canada, and the Scandinavian countries, majority are coming from Muslim countries. And in the perspective of the people, it does seems to that they are trying to push them back to their country. Well, a lot of majority of the people would say the sense is it's the West who started this issue, creating Iraq war, Afghanistan war, destabilize these Muslim countries, resulting on the issues that there's a lot of people who are desperately moving to another country, to specifically to European, a West country, and from there, the West fears, the citizen fears that the country is going to transform into another little Baghdad or a little Muslim countries. The biggest fear is the introduction of Sharia laws, which is being inceptionized in United Kingdom. There are a certain degree of Muslim community trying to promote and legalize Sharia law in United Kingdom as an equal law to the common laws or the basic human right laws, the common laws. So some are pushing for that. Now, believe me or not, in my country, these public civil laws, the common laws, and the Sharia laws are equal. There is a system here runs equally. There are some advantages and disadvantages, but it's workable. it is workable in a sense for the Muslims, so long as they are understanding on both Muslim and non-Muslim, the country will be fine. So I find it is still workable in a sense, but if you have not reached the pinnacle point of that, then I think the countries that are purely circular should remain circular. You know, full-heartedly fought there. But those countries that have already Muslim majority and has the laws that is already in the framework of the society should remain in that way. Any kind of radical change will create destabilizing the peace and order. I, for one, whatever it is, peace and order is paramount, regardless how the position of the world would be. But to my observation, the more countries are being in the right wing, especially far rights, supporting like Le Pen, Trump, Nigel Farage. These are the people that would transform the world's future, becoming more isolated, to become more nationalistic. It will be a disaster for other countries, and the biggest fear of the byproduct of being too right wing is you give the opportunity to Russia and the People's Republic of China to become the new role model, helping other countries, especially countries developing, Africa, Southeast Asia, South America, because countries that is so-called a role model of globalization currently still like America, Canada, United Kingdom, France, Germany. If they switch to the right side and they engage in a policy of isolation where they're trying to kick out foreigners, trying to remove multiculturalism and so forth, you giving the opportunity to countries that is the opposite side of the spectrum of the global power, like communist China or Russia, to influence other countries. It's a losing game if in a long term, I would say. But China's been very quiet because they know this is an opportunity they would want. Countries in Europe destabilized, turning far right, becoming a small or a mild fascist mindset, a little dash of racism and so forth, would damage the image whether they are still standing as globalized nation, embracing multicultural of and so forth. So today, I would say as far as that, a lot of happiness, a lot of joy, a lot of despair, a little sadness, but the world must go on, and go on we shall. Okay, back to the original thing that I'm supposed to talk about and do. The banknotes I've bought is just only two country. I bought one, but I'm gonna show two because the other one is a gift. I'm still gonna record it, so I'm gonna talk about the ones that I've got it from an auction myself. Is this the one? Germany. Banknote serial number, banknote series is 1st of August 1991 series. This is much the second oldest one for this kind of design, or this kind of series of design. The other early one is 1989, if I'm not mistaken. If I'm correct me if I'm wrong. That's the early one. Then they had 1991, and then 1996. In my collection, I actually had the 1996 in my collection. Maybe I can show it right now. The collection. Ooh. Let's see. Europeans. Yep, European. There we are. So I've almost got all my collection in. I bought this. I got this from Cat's auction. Uh, for the 5 mark. I've got this one when my parents traveled to Europe when I was a kid. At time I was very small, probably around 6 years old or 5 years old. I went to Europe. I was very small, young, but my father kept this 10 marks. So pretty much I had that. That's one I got 1993, 1989. So I got two 1989 and 1993 one. I had 1991 for the 20. 50 I got it from an auction. Sorry, I got it from the banknote and coins convention. This is 1989. Yep. And the 100, sorry if I can't see this. And the 100 I've got here, as you can see, is from Cats, the 1996, one of the last series they had before they became obsolete and transformed itself to become Euro. So I do collect this series of German notes. I don't really collect beyond the older ones of the German notes. Only this typical series. So now I at least have a variety of notes from different series. This is a variation difference. Okay, some again collectors just say, I collected one design, I don't need any more. There's just this is enough for me. Some want to collect, I need the 100 of all the same design on the different variation. Some collectors are like that. Different collectors have different perspective of their objective of collections. So for me, it's quite mixed. When I look at this, I think in Germany, I only collect this series. If I still want to advance further on this series and focus only this series, then probably I'll just add in a variation into my collection. If I'm thinking of different series, even the older ones or the newer ones, then probably I won't be conducting collection like these, having these on buy this. I just have this one of the series, then done, and then the next one probably the previous design series and so forth. So yeah, this one is 1991, this is 1996 series. Get a different, almost similar design, probably the added security feature. The differences here is they had the hologram mark of the 100 mark here with a hologram. This one, the older one, doesn't have. Now the other ones that is uniquely that the difference, of course, is the newer one obviously has more security features. They increase the security features in the newer ones compared to the older ones. The older ones, the security feature is just that a silver thread. This one, they have a silver thread, they had the hologram, and I think they have the Urian stars. Urian stars. If I pronounce it correct, I get that catch on my tongue. I'll just say Eurostars, that's it. And of course at this 100 the differences is here. This is just a dark color 100 and then gradient out. This is a lighter gradient, but here is written 100 Deutsche Mark or DM. In DM 100, and it's here written 100 Deutsche Mark. So yeah, that's apart from the differences. Other than that, I think it's every thing design is the same. Serial number, color, red. Here's black. So not much difference, I would say. Everything's similar. Only the signature, of course, the governor changed, or the director is changed from the Deutsche Bank. So yeah, pretty much that's all the changes. What about the back? What about the back? If some people might say, the back. One observation is the color is different. Probably it's just this one. The color different of the 100 bar. This is a darker tone and more consistent. This is a lighter tone and is much also considered gradient out. But the design wise, everything else is pretty much the same. Beyond that is the background here. Added security feature of the Euro stars. This one doesn't have Euro stars. The older ones they don't have, but the newer ones they have Euro stars in here. So other than that, they're all quite similar. So their variation is just slightly different, but it's still considered as variation. So again, people collect has different point of view. Some collect different variation of the same design series, but have multiple different signatures or different variations. Some hobbyists, numismatic collectors, they do that. Some they just collect one design and then they move on to the next design. They don't care about variations or different signatures. That depends on what collection. For me, I mix them. Certain countries or certain banknotes of a country, I would say that certain I would do this variation, like the Germans. Some I don't, like China, especially the older ones. Because China has so many design and so many variations. You can't have the capacity, or if you have limited capital or money to spend to keep it afloat for both. So you have to make a strategic point in your collection. It's not the principle that you have to commit absolutely like religiously. It is a option for you to decide whether it's viable for you to collect and makes you happy. So like Germans, I collect variation, but I do not create different designs. Like I won't go back in time on like before 1989, probably like banknotes in Germany's banknotes like 1950, 60, 70 and 80s. I just stick to this one and create and try to create a collection of different variations. Whereas like China, if they have so many designs, very unique, very different. Each region has its own design and so forth. So I would avoid collecting the variation and chose to collect different design. Rather than buying one that is similar design and just because of few things of difference like prefix, serial numbers, or the signature of the governor or the treasury or the manager and the assistant manager is different signatures. Probably I would not do that unless I found a very rare signature or very rare banknote of that variation. Probably I would consider getting it. But in the meantime, no. For me, China is too many, so many design and so many different branches making their own banknotes in China during the old days before the communist China took over. They have a lot of local banks. It's like American banks. Like before, Federal Reserve is the only bank that are able to print money and issue money. We have these obsolete banks. The Bank of Augustas, Bank of Alabama, the First National Banks, etc., etc., etc. The old days, American has a decentralized banking system. So a lot of the local banks, they have their own deposits of gold or silver to issue their own private banknotes. Currently, they are categorized as obsolete banknotes in the catalog book, but there is a huge varieties of collection. So you have so many varieties of designs you can collect. So it's pretty much viable for the collection to be very rich is to collect the different variety of design rather than the one design with many variation. But again, it's your choice. You are the collector. It's your money. You spend it. Your choice. No one can make that any decision. What I'm trying to say is a lot of people who try to begin collecting may not understand. Like me, I was quite blank when I start collecting. I just want this and that with this and that, but did not realize that how much money you have to accomplish a long term of what kind of collection you want in your albums or in your books. Are you going to collect a world design, or are you collecting a single country, dedicating only a single country? Which many people chose in that position became a very good uh, resources to for learning the rare banknotes, because as time goes on, if you collect a single country, um, probability is you're going to have money to buy those ultra rare banknotes of that country. And if you achieve the set, people you kind of like the hero or the king of the collectors. A lot of times you see those auction houses say this is the person's collection series. That name of that person is very famous. That means he has collected many of those rare banknotes and he's going to sell it out. That is called pedigree. Those banknotes has pedigree, and if the person is very well renowned, or very well renowned because he collected a specific country, dedicating in that sense. Some people do collect in such a way. Some collect just all around the world, different varieties. I do not need to collect those ultra rare. I just collect like $1 or one ringgit or one Singapore dollar is enough. I have those designs. I have that country's banknote, and I'm gonna keep that in there. Some people have that way of collecting. It's not wrong. Okay, it is absolutely never wrong. You do it your way. As you do it your way, that's never wrong. Collecting is very subjective. Don't look down on people. As I would say, never look down on people's collection, which I sometimes feel when you have a rare item, sometimes people do have ego. Say that, I have a better one than you have. I have a better condition than you have. I have a better serial, a fancy number banknote than yours. I don't like that kind of attitude, to be honest. I like to share. I sometimes like to tell banknotes. Even though I don't understand, I try to find out. Even I try to find out and make mistake. I like people to have a conversation, like in as a like as a coffee table conversation kind of thing. It's like listening to their opinion. Probably they have more input, or something on my information is wrong. Those are the best part of sharing a community of interested people on banknotes to talk about. They talk about this banknote might be looking at the price going down. Suddenly there's somebody else. Those kind of things do add in the quality of the conversation. But I just don't like conversation that is competing kind of thing. The question or answer is very competitive, stating that I got a better one. No, I think yours is a lower quality one. It doesn't worth much. Yeah, it's rare, but it doesn't worth much. I don't like people talking down on people, and I never do that to, especially kids who are trying to get inspired in collecting banknotes, or stamps, or even coins. I never look down. The most toxic places for this kind of environment of collecting is actually the trading card community. Of course, the trading card is a game. You compete. So obviously, naturally, there is competition. Can you imagine you are a grow ass man competing with somebody who is half their age, probably who is just enter puberty, or 12-year-old kid or 11-year-old kid trying to start and get inspired in collecting, and you bash him up and using your fancy moves and so forth. I feel my observation, I've seen such an environment, and it's very toxic, and a lot of the kids get scared approaching the community of the trading card community, especially like Magic the Gathering, uh, Vanguard, Pokemon. It's not approachable. People get scared. People get intimidated. For me, I used to collect trading cards and play. Mostly is playing it, but as time goes by, people getting better than you, getting egoistic, and in a sense that they're very arrogant. It just discouraged me in playing the cards. But I do keep my mind that someday these cards would have value, so I kept those cards. I actually big portion of my life. When I was a kid, I had a lot of trading card collection, and then I stopped completely, especially like during my high schools, my high school period or my secondary school period. I literally stopped trading cards. I don't play. I don't collect them. But I do know that I don't throw them out, so I keep a lot of my old Pokemon cards, my Magic cards, and so forth, and hope in the future they would flourish in good value. And today, last year, people start to have enthusiasm to collect vintage or older trading cards and grade them. That's something a new phenomena in my town. To be honest, it started last year and started more and more people appreciate PSA 10, PSA 9.5, etc. Before that, nobody knew about it. Maybe some of them that know, but they have no interest in buying or collecting or selling or trying to grade it. But starting late last year and this year, I see the trend is moving very high. People are going to spend money to grade their trading cards. I too was considering it, but I try not to get involved in trading cards so much. So, in it, yeah. So yeah, that's the on back to banknotes. So that's one reason why I push myself collecting banknotes, because in collecting banknotes, the community, I wouldn't say is too big, nor too small. They're just right, and a lot of these people that I collect them, I don't see them very often. So I don't. You do not need to have uh, a a very close knit community to enjoy collecting banknotes. If you compare it to trading cards, yes, trading cards, you need that dynamics. Almost every night, if you spend every week 1 or 2 weeks on trading cards, those 2 nights or 2 days or 2 nights a week, you need to have interaction with the community to actually enrich yourself. It can't be done alone or in being introvert about it. You need to be extrovert. Banknotes, however, you can be slightly introvert, because most of the things is banknotes you are doing solo. You're collecting itself. The only time that you are trying to mix with people in the community is when you're looking for a banknote. Number one. Number two, you're going to sell your banknote. Number three, you're going to grade your banknote. Number four, you're looking for the banknote. And number five, to understand the banknote. They're pretty simple and basic things in that. Beyond that, everything, banknotes collecting, coin collection, stamp collection, you can do it solo by yourself in your room and talk to yourself like what I'm doing right now. So anyway, this is the only banknote that I got today. How much I bought it? I bought it for quite a quite a good price, I would say. I believe I bought it for about 130 ringgit. 130 ringgit, which is the cheapest I found for such a condition. I found in eBay it's in this condition, selling around 250 to 300 ringgit. So that's a saving for it. It's not uncirculated, it's not UNC, but anyway, it's good enough for me for collecting this banknote. My next target to try to complete my so-called German banknotes, which not anytime soon, probably next year or 2 years or 3 years in the future. It's not in my top priority. It's the 500 mark and the 1,000 mark. Oh, and the 200 mark. I forgot. I always miss out the 200. After the 100 denomination, they had the 200 denomination, then the 500 denomination, and the last one is the 1,000 denomination. Of course, the bigger denomination of the banknote, the less quantities being circulated in the public or in the market, which means the price is high. Again, the price is high. Do I have the money? Probably not, because they're selling a hefty of nearly 8 to 9,000 ringgit, nearly 5 figures, 10,000. Is pretty ridiculous price if you ask me. But being a collector, if you need to have that collection, you just have to plan it out. Don't give up, but plan it out and look for opportunity, probably in the auction or people who are selling in the garage sale or so forth, a flea market, people who are desperately want to sell it out. You might find that opportunity and you get a really good price. Willing sellers, willing buyers. That's the principle. If he's willing to sell it very cheap, I'm willing to buy it at that price. But of course, if it's too ridiculous, if you want to add in a little bit, it's your choice. There's no right, there is no wrong. Alright, the next one is I got it for a gift. I got a gift from my friend who went to the trip in South Korea. Now, going to South Korea, I expect them to come back with a gift of a good new banknote of South Korean won. But my friend went there and think that North Korea would be the highlight. The reason you can buy this banknote and it's cost 20,000 South Korean won. That's about, in ringgit cents, it's about 60 ringgit if you ask me. 60 ringgit. To me, for such a note, for 60 ringgit, for North Korean notes, it's expensive, to be honest. Of course, they never told me, they never asked me about the price, whether I wanted or not. So it's a surprise gift. I really do appreciate their thoughts of that. They know that I collect banknotes, and they actually attempt to buy me a souvenir. You can buy me other souvenirs like the postcards, other novelties, bookmarks, or fridge magnet. Those are the simple novelties, the most common when you go travel overseas and you come back. There's a gift of souvenirs you're giving to your families, your friends, your relatives, so forth. Those are the typical one. But this one, they actually really thought about me. So I really, from my bottom of my heart, I actually appreciate them when they go to the holiday trip and then they come back. They gave me a souvenir, which is banknotes. They know I collect banknotes and they appreciate it. And by having a thought about it, they bought me this. So to me, the value of buying it, probably pragmatically, if you ask me pragmatically, is too damn expensive. But the thought of buying it for me, because I collect banknote and they know that North Korea is more unique banknote, because knowing generally is a very isolated country, is a communist country, nobody can go in and out there, blah blah blah, it's a dictator country, so banknote must be very unique. I accept that their thoughts, but the most importantly, their thoughts that buying a unique banknotes, because I collect banknotes, I felt very happy and I enjoy about it. So yeah, thank you. If they are watching this video, I would like to thank them on their of their thoughts of giving bought me this. And I heard that they bought this, the whole entire clan of the teams go rushing to buy North Korea banknotes. Don't worry. If you ask me, North Korea banknotes are actually very darn cheap. They don't have value actually as a face value. That the exchange rate is very small and the quantity is quite huge. So here we go. Now this banknote, I do collect some of the North Korean banknotes, but I'm more focusing on the South Korean if I had the opportunity. So North Korean banknotes, I quite rarely collect them, but they are very. It's another world of designing of a banknote. If you compare to the South Korean and the North Korean. North Korean is designed as being a socialist or communist country. The design wise is very nationalistic, very patriotic, very socialist in a sense. You can see military comes first. That is the policy in North Korea. You have the land army, you have the navy, and the air force. Air, sea, and ground in the three human military portraits that defends North Korea's sovereignty. At the back, you have the monument. I do not know what monument is this. As you can see, it is quite poorly designed. Now, I take it back. I won't say it's poorly designed. Okay, normally when you have a monument, you have written down here what is the meaning of this monument. Probably the statue of blah 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 blah, what. But normally, if you do that, is that you're trying to identify those people who do not know, which means are foreigners, non-citizens. North Korea has very rare have non-citizens entering the country. Probably in 1 year, less than 100,000 tourists. That's it. Comes in the country, and even that time they come into the country, you don't use the currency to buy in the open market because everything is already controlled and provided to you. They are only giving you guide tours. There is no free and easy. You can't go around alone. You have a minder or the tour guide will always be by your side at all times. So it is a very controlled state. So the banknotes do reflect that situation. This money is used by North Koreans. Why would they need other languages other than the North Korean language or the Korean language, some people would say? But actually, North Korean has their own dialect, a slight different variation of writing and the words compared to the South Koreans. So I'm trying to make it as detailed thoughts of what it is supposed to already is in a condition. So this is designed for North Koreans to read and understand. North Koreans, by looking at the photo, they know what the statue means, they know where it is, they know what it stands for. So you don't need any small little titles to explain what is this all about. Compared to other banknotes, like good whack from my collection, just any collection just popping out from my hand would be like the last video about the Canadian one. So like Canadian banknotes, let me see, there is there, they represent the bird. So what's the bird called? Carrieri. So why do they need this? Alright, they don't need to describe the bird. Then if it's a national or very important bird in New Zealanders, the New Zealanders citizens itself would know about it. But because New Zealand is an open country, they have extensively foreigners coming into the country as a tourist or business or being a student, long term or short term students. Banknotes has a way of giving a message of what are they trying to portray on their banknotes. the national bird or a local bird that is only found in New Zealand. What is the name of the bird? They just have to write it in. So a lot of banknotes you'll see is in that such conditions. Other than this, probably it's not a simple one like this one in a $5 banknote, New Zealand. Again, they show the bird and the flower. So they have some name. What's the bird name called? It's called Tiu. T-U-I. And the floral is called Kowhai. 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 And the other bird is called Tiu. So the locals should be knowing what is the bird is this by looking at the photo, and the floral by looking at a photo. So why they do that is most of the time is indirectly, I would say, trying to give the understanding to non-New Zealanders what are this all about. Okay, but those are one examples. It's not 100%. That's why they had like the words, they put the titles on it, and it's for foreigners. No, but most of it they're designed in such a way. So North Korea do not see a lot of non-North Koreans in their country, so they don't need it to write anything, and the picture just tells 1,000 words. Right? Okay, and then this note is actually no value. This is called specimen. This note is printed in 2002. The year is 91 of the founding of the Workers' Party, or the country's founding is 91 years. Gregorian calendar is 2002. So you can see all the serial numbers 0000. Yeah, many of the specimen banknotes, another thing about food of thought, is they're supposed to be very rare. For one good example is very rare is like Malaysia's specimen or contoh or example banknotes. Those are very rare and they are fetching extreme value. Whereas North Koreans, they printed a lot of this money. Basically, they do this so that they actually can sell this merchandise to tourists. Right, correct me if I'm wrong. They manufacture a lot of this quantity as a specimen, which has no value, but as to target to sell to foreigners. Because it's not every day you can freely go to North Korea. So some of them, they're selling banknotes. People sucker like me who bought the banknotes. Of course, technically I didn't buy this banknote, but I'm being fair. That is the food of thought. They are not, my friends are not collectors. So I just like it that way. I don't blame anyone. I never look down on people. It is a good effort, and I appreciate the effort. The other one, another specimen banknote, is North Korea 1,000 won. 1,000 won. Okay. See the banknote? No words, no nothing. And this banknote actually has a silver edge. They have a silver lining in here as a security, micro print. And if you ask me, the banknote is this is one of the lakes. I don't know, or the probably North Koreans would know this lake, and there's no title about this one. This one at the front again, there's no title. This note is printed in the year 2008, the year of the Communist Party and the Workers' Party in 97. Again, it's a old print or specimen. Sample. Serial numbers are all 0. Again, this one is no name, no title of this building, what it is. But I do know what this building is because I at least found out by reading. According to it, this is where Kim Il Sung was born. This is the resident of their so-called their immortal president, the dear leader Kim Il Sung was born when both his parents live here, gave birth here. So it is a national monument or a shrine to their dear leader. At least I know that's fast. But without the title and so forth, no one know about it. It's just probably another a building in North Korea, just like that. If you are a citizen, you know the importance of this building by just looking at the photo. The image tells 1,000 words. So yeah, that's the note. I don't know the lake at the back here, so I'm not too sure about it. So yeah, I really appreciate what they have bought for me. I'd like to say again, thank you very much from them for their thoughts of getting me this banknote. But it is North Korean. A lot of the notes, value-wise, probably only less than 20 ringgit, 30 ringgit. Paying for 60 ringgit is overpriced. If you ask a banknote collector, it is overpriced. But if you're asking a tourist who is not a banknote collector, it's just for a good souvenir, knowing another person or your friend is collecting banknotes, okay, maybe it has value to it. But the thought of buying it is very important to me. So I like to say that and record. It's not the money, so I never look at this one. It's the effort of the thought of buying it for me as a gift, as a souvenir. They can buy me any other souvenirs, but they thought of me and personalized the souvenirs they bought for me. So that is a thought. I value their thoughts, and I really appreciate that. And that's it. That's all for today. I have all my banknotes. Beyond than that, there's a little recap. I've gone through some of the coins, or the old Malaysian coins. Out of all the coins here, only a handful of coins here has value, probably around range from 20 ringgit to 300 ringgit coin value. Of course, based on the conditions, we'll probably still nick down to less than 50 ringgit. But anyway, knowing the quantity is very little of the print of this type of coins, the series, it's a good catch. Again, I don't collect a lot of coins for sake. I collect them, a few of them, and then just keeping it. That's it. Nothing more, nothing less. I don't collect very intensively compared to banknote collection. I least intensify collecting coins. Alright, that's all I have for banknote. Other than that, what I got, just want to say out of the blue, I went to a shop and I bought a Magic the Gathering just for fun, and they told me that I bought a so-called a draft booster or the play booster pack for 40 ringgit. It's pretty expensive. Normally I would say it's 13 ringgit was the good price. Now it's 40 ringgit. It's very expensive to start even collecting trading cards again. But I just have fun, just buy one or two of the trading packs, those booster packs. They told me the one that I bought, which is Magic the Gathering Modern Horizon 3, the chase cards or the most valuable cards that people are trying to get is the Ulamog the Defiler. Well, some of you might think it's a very funny name, but yeah. So I bought the booster, try my luck. In the end, actually, I got it. I've got it. Ulamog the Defiler. To spending probably 80 ringgit. This card alone, would say about 250 ringgit. I would say probably around 200 to 250 ringgit. The current market. So it's a good profit. In the sense of valuable and profit wise, I think yeah, I nail it, and it's very lucky. Just to boost the packs, got Ulamog the Defiler, and yeah, it has been very long time for me. I have not played Magic the Gathering cards. I haven't played Pokemon cards, very rare. But at least Pokemon, I still remember how to play. It's quite easy to remember the steps and procedures compared to Magic the Gathering. So yeah, that is all for today. I'd like to say thank you very much to everyone and everywhere, and I hope to see you again. Probably tomorrow I'll just go out to the community just to check with them anything new. Of course, now for me collecting banknote, the greatest chase right now for me is the new King Charles Bank of England banknotes. Bank of England has issued a new banknotes. I've been trying to get my friend helping me getting a new uncirculated banknote for the same face value, because right now eBay is just selling a very exorbitant price. Face value plus 25 to 30, or some even double, about 50% up the value from the face value. So it's not worth it at the moment. The other one that I'm actually, again, I'm focusing on, which is supposed to be the biggest bomb for me, is Bank of Japan. Japan, just last Wednesday, on the 3rd of July 2024, they have issued a new design banknotes series with more security features and more more community friendly, I would say, in a way. I won't talk about it until I get that banknote. I'm still looking for it, but right now again the price is crazy for an uncirculated banknote for this new series, Bank of Japan. There are not many people are selling it at the moment. Nobody actually has the first prefix, the double A's, the quadruple A's, AA serial number, AA. Nobody has that yet, but if anybody's selling it, they are probably selling it 3 times the face value or 4 times the bloody face value. It's utterly nonsense price at the moment because of the hype at the collecting community, especially those collecting Japanese banknote like me, myself. There are many people out there are willing to pay double the price. 10,000 yen, they're selling around 400 to 500 ringgit. That's in the face value is supposed to be 290 ringgit at the moment. 1,000 is supposed to be 29. It's now selling around 120 to 150 ringgit. It's madness. And then 300 ringgit, almost double the price for the 5,000 yen. It's just, the price is crazy. So I'm trying to get a friend of mine in Japan. He's now in Japan to get that new banknote. Although it is not the first prefix, at least I had the uncirculated banknotes, and probably if I can get 2 sets, I'm willing to sell 1 set to anyone and trying to make a slight justice by selling probably an increase of 10% or so of the face value. I'm not, right now people are hijacking it and selling it more than 25, 30, 50, 40, 50% up the price. It's just crazy, ludicrous. But anyway, that is the banknote that I'm looking for. Ultimately is King Charles portrait, uncirculated, and the new Bank of Japan banknotes 2024. I don't know whether they still consider saying it as series series F, because the previous designs they actually moved up a bit by coding them as series A, series B, series C, series D, series E was the last one. Now it's series F, if you would want to say. But I don't know whether they use this system or they're using a new system, because those systems has been used in 20 years ago. Now Japan is very typical. They only change their design or any of their banknotes when there is a breach of a certain quarter numbers of counterfeit banknotes. When there are a certain number of counterfeit has been reached per year, it will trigger them to decide to increase the security feature or change the banknotes. Apparently right now they had reached that point 5 years ago, so they have redesigned the banknotes. Even if the security feature is okay, with a minimal counterfeits that did not reach the the quarter, okay, I would say reaching the quarter certain numbers of counterfeit acceptability, every 20 years they will change the banknote. That is the nature of the Japanese banks. So that's how they are. So that's all for today. Thank you very much for listening this. If you like what my video, do subscribe, give me a like, give me a thumbs up, and so forth. If you think that I say something wrong or misinterpret or so forth, do comment. I am open-minded. I'm willing to share and willing to learn. I value and cherish opinions and so forth. So please do write in any comments if you wish to. And other than that, I just wish you all a pleasant day and hope I can see you all tomorrow. Thank you. Good night and bye.